and it's kitty corner from the Hooters there. It's by Avli, if you know where that is, downtown in River North.
Let's be honest, I know where the Hooters is downtown.
Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying, my guy. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of my Chop Shop, where we are chopping it up today with the professor himself. The professor is in the building.
What's up, guys?
Professor
Thanks for
Pizza.
having me.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming.
It's a dope setup you guys have here. I'm happy to be here.
It is a dope setup. Shout out to fucking Good News Studio for...
All right.
So this is Nick and Corey.
Nick and Corey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
And this is Dom on the photographs right here.
There we go. We got a Paisan in the mix. I appreciate that.
And we're just, and they kind of set up the room. So Nick and Corey, this is their space. Nick's also Paisano. That's why he's throwing his hands up.
There you go. Okay. All right.
You couldn't tell? I could tell that about Nick.
Dom wears it on the sleeve a little with the name, you know. Yeah, you could go Greek, you know. It depends. I don't know.
But yeah, they set up the studio, and I think it's fucking amazing.
Nice
so
job,
shout out to
boys.
Good News Studio.
Nice job.
Nice fucking job.
Good news, good vibes.
Yeah.
So what's up, man?
Chilling, man. Just filming podcast today. But I do want to talk to you about a couple things.
For sure.
I'm so interested in your story. So like the way I'm aware of you is I'm a comedian in Chicago.
Right.
And you started popping into like all these comedy shows bringing pizza. And we,
yes, sir.
And we all were like, this is the greatest pizza ever. And then we found out we didn't know that you homemade it. Then it escalated to you like really getting into delivery systems and like showing up at the United Center to visit artists and going to, the other big arenas we have and that kind of shit. Chicago theater.
Yes, sir.
And it was just fantastic to see. And now fast forward, probably like 2 years from when you came on the radar, you got 2 brick and mortars here in Chicago, right?
We do. I like to say 1.5. We've got a seasonal rooftop called Tetto, which is Italian for rooftop in the West Loop. Right? A rooftop
what's Italian for rooftop?
Tetto.
Tetto?
Tetto, yeah.
Tetto.
Yes, and that's
I love a good Tetto.
That's a collaboration between... This is a great Tetto city, really. But...
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, summertime. Summertime shy.
Schaumburg time. You from the suburbs?
No, I think some of this moonshine you handed me is already get into me, but... No, summertime shy, a rooftop is hard to beat. And we've got sweeping views of the West Loop, cabanas, DJ booth. It's a vibe up there for sure. So we're out of rooftop season. There's no indoor seating there right now. We're playing around with maybe doing some, but normally it just goes back to carry-on delivery, and that's what we're rocking out there.
Okay.
And then 8 months ago, Wells Street, North Avenue, Old Town, attached to Second City. We opened up our first
by the way.
Full tilt restaurant, right? So 130 seats, full bar.
Full tilt.
Full tilt, man. We're going for it. Pastas, appetizers, really building out the whole menu. So
nice.
It's a long time in the making, for sure.
Let's start there. I'm very curious. How did this all come about, and how long has it been in the making?
Well, it's hard to zero in on a particular year, but I think I'm pretty confident in saying that it's been roughly 15 years now that I've been making pizza, starting with at home for friends, family, whoever was around me that, I could coax into trying a slice of one of my early creations, which were, rough as you can imagine. Sure. Some of your early jokes as a comic are not what you're rocking on stage nowadays, but you got to start somewhere.
You got to start. You do have to. You have to cut your teeth at anything.
Exactly that. So that was me open micing it as a early pizzaiolo. But
it's so funny to think there's an open micing of pizza.
It's really with your home oven. And
does every career have an open mic? Like, is there an open mic of strippers? You're just doing it at a house party and people are like, those are some nice tits.
Man, it could be. Your first cat call is like, hey, maybe I got something.
First cat call. I went by the construction site twice today. Nobody said anything.
Yeah. Maybe this ain't the future for me. Might actually have to use my brain. What can I say? But
so you open mic pizza'd it.
I did for a long time.
Okay.
And then realized along the way if I was going to get into opening up my own pizzeria, I needed to understand the basics of cuisine, the basics of owning and operating a restaurant, and just needed to kind of vary my background and my experience in the culinary world at large, right? So I had already come from somewhat of a culinary background in that my parents, my grandparents, my aunt and uncle had a combination of restaurants, catering operations, Italian beef, Euro, hot dog, kind of greasy spoon type
Right.
spots. And so I was always around it growing up in one capacity or another. And I always tell people that like food was always very central in bringing people to the home, and my parents are always known as like big entertainers and big cookers, and people to come over for Super Bowl parties or Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever the case may be, and just pull out all the stops, right?
Do you feel like your love of food comes from the family orientation you had with food?
For sure. A little bit mixed in that obviously I've got the Italian American background, or American Italian as I put it most times, in that, we're very removed from
Sure.
actually Italy. I haven't been yet myself. My parents just got out there in the past couple months.
Oh, sick. Were they born there or anything? Or like your
No,
grandparents?
no. So my great grandparents.
Okay.
My great grandparents were, and in some cases my great great grandparents, depending on which side and
Okay.
whose mother or father you're talking about. But yeah, for me, it definitely informed my love of food. And then we talk about like having some Greek family influence too from my uncle. He had the hot dog and Euro
Yeah.
stand. His son, my cousin, Michael,
your uncle
does all
had
my
a-
social media, and kind of social media gives him a great underscore for what he actually does. He does pretty much everything shy of making the pizzas for me. But
This is your cousin?
this is my cousin Michael Mantis, yeah, and
Shout out to Michael
His
Mantis.
father Fred had the hot dog stand Mandino's, which is Mantis and Scardino kind of combined, right? And it's those Italian American influences, those Greek American influences, and all of that informed just my love of cooking and food from a young age, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you work at any of your family restaurants?
Yeah, a little bit. My at the time I was growing up, they had largely phased out of the restaurants, with the exception of my uncle. So I had an opportunity.
Your uncle with the Euro shop?
Yeah, with the
Sick.
Euro shop, right? And so I worked there some summers. At first, just because I literally wanted to. We were kids headed to the beach in Lake Geneva, and he was running. This wasn't his main spot, but he had this American Legion stand where he did even smaller concession type stuff, almost like a truncated or express version of his normal menu, right? And so on the way going down to the beach, a lot of times I would just stop in there and spend the entire day in there filling sodas on a crate.
Hell yeah.
And,
So you started at the bottom with this shit.
I started at the bottom, and
now you're here.
I still have a long way to go, obviously, but I'm pretty thrilled with the progress and the team of people around me that have supported me in realizing my dreams, and
Yeah.
and now I'm proud to say that they've kind of co-opted some of my dream, and it's become some of theirs too, because they run it as if it's their own business, and that's why some of those people have equity in my business. And
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
I'm just thrilled and humbled at the very same time to say there's so many people involved that I could not do this thing without. So
That's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm kind of curious about. Like, I mean, to the extent you're willing to share, like, you have a very interesting business model that I'm kind of curious about. And from what I saw, it seems like a big part of your marketing is like just guerrilla getting into the United Center. I made a pizza for Jelly Roll. Can I drop it off?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a balance, right? Because sometimes I do these things for pay, sometimes I do them for reduced pay.
Sure.
A lot of times I do them for free.
Yeah.
And when you've got partners in it that have a lot of money into your dream, into your concept, sometimes that can be a harder pitch, to make than other times. And yet I try and impress upon them that, like, look, this isn't a short play. It's not like you're going to make pizza for Jelly Roll and then see immediate, sales increases
Totally.
right after that post comes up. I see it's not about any one of these activations or posts, but it's the sum or the collection of all of them together.
Well, clearly it sent you
it shows
in a moment, like in a trajectory that has momentum, because like everything I've seen you do is you've just built bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started with friends, Joe McMahon and Dale McPeak had a local show years ago.
Yeah, I know them.
Not My Father's Comedy Show in the former At North Bar. And
I missed that place. That place was so fun.
It really was. I mean, like,
Owner was a sweet guy.
Places like that, like, were central to the Chicago comedy scene.
1000%.
And before I was, we talk about Jelly Roll. Obviously, he's not a comic, but like it's blossomed, right? But a lot of this is me doing this for comics, backstage activations, right? Pizza activations, as I've kind of dubbed
Pizza activations?
Well, we do.
What does that mean?
It just depends. I wouldn't call it an activation when I go into a green room with like a hot bag of pizzas.
Oh yeah,
that's me showing up with some pizzas.
That's a pizza activation.
But like, a pizza activation is like if I'm going to the United Center, I'm going to the Chicago Theater, and I'm bringing 2 ovens that are coming in flight cases, and a heated table, and stainless steel table that I'm gonna garnish on, and a whole garnish kit, and 8 to 25 pizzas, depending, or I might be there 2 nights in a row. So, we're coming off. I haven't posted about it yet, but we were just back at the United Center this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, for Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh,
and it was a nutty experience, man. I mean, like, for a greaseball like myself, that's a real coming of age moment. I always tell people, and it comes across funny, but the reality is I bet you don't have like a name other than his for this. I think he's the Frank Sinatra of our generation.
1000%. And he portrays himself like that too. The way he dresses, the way he
leans
talks
into it.
And acts.
He leans into
it. He leans into it.
And why wouldn't you? I mean, it's what he knows. It's what he comes from. It's
Corey, can we pull up a picture of Sebastian Maniscalco looking real eccentric here? he's going to have some sort of bedazzled rhinestone shirt.
I'm going to set you up because earlier, I think before we went on, we were talking about my pizza boxes. But for anybody that's seen my pizza box, right? It's me on the inside of it as you're opening it up, and you can perforate my head off and put your head in.
I didn't know that.
Right? So when I post about the Sebastian,
let's grab this one, that headshot on the right.
Right?
In the right.
Any of those.
Can we blow that up? What is that?
Now. He looks like the Italian Diddy there. Jesus.
He really does. He looks like he's been doing something real wrong.
Please.
Oh, he's so funny, though.
I hope not. He's such a hero.
He's a sweet guy.
No, he was incredible. His wife was incredible. His father, his mother, his father's girlfriend, his sister. It was a family affair.
Yeah.
As well it should be. It's his hometown, I mean, 2 nights in a row, 20,000 seats each night.
That's so
him
sick.
Zooming out onto the stage on his Vespa, and then by the way,
he came out on a Vespa.
Yeah, and here's the real kicker. By the way, I partnered with Hulu, and we're shooting my special here tonight.
Oh, he didn't tell anybody prior.
Yeah. So this past weekend, he shot it, and I think the secret's out to at least 40,000 people, so I don't think I'm speaking out of school here at this point, but
hell yeah,
it's cool to be a part of that. Fingers crossed for a credit in the rolling credits at the end, but we'll see.
Caterer number 2.
Absolutely.
Professor
I really
Pizza.
was caterer number 2. They had already had the event fully catered back there. There's a restaurant back there that most people never see.
Really?
But I was caterer number 2, the pizza guy.
Hell yeah. Well, shout out. Hopefully we get your credit.
We'll see. Yeah, absolutely.
That's sick. So talk to me about that, how that works into a little bit like the business strategy. Like, obviously you had to get like investors and stuff. Is this your like vision you're foreseeing? Or are you now at this point taking on like 5-6 different people's vision and trying to like move it?
Well, so I'm trying to hold on to my core vision. Mm-hmm. My cousin's core vision. I'm very lucky in the fact that, like, even though, it's hard working with family, like, it's one of those things where, like, there's a lot of brutal honesty at play, and that works for you and it works against you, but I wouldn't change it for anything. Like I find myself to be like supremely lucky to have my cousin involved and to have the greater lineage of my family as like kind of the backbone and everything that we do, or our kind of North Star and what drives this concept. But it's bigger than just my cousin and I at this point, right? And the folks that originally started, I've got two different sets of investors. One that kind of overlaps between both properties and the other that's just in the Old Town space. And I owe a lot of like what we've built and what we've grown into to those investors. But anytime you're working with other folks, it's other personalities, it's other opinions.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm making myself look too vulnerable here by saying like wasn't all my money that made this possible.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly answering to people that have a lot into this, and with that comes a certain level of stress on my shoulders. But I try my best to rise to that stress, and I try my best to keep things into perspective and realize like, hey, with that stress comes some of these opportunities that a lot of people come up to me and say, oh man, I wish I was backstage for X, Y, and Z, or got to go to this event and do whatever. And so no complaints here. Lucky for me, I'm halfway decent at this because there's not too many other things I could see myself doing in this lifetime.
Yeah.
But it's a journey, and I'm still very much on it.
Where'd you grow up?
Northwest suburbs, about 45 minutes outside of the city.
Me too.
Specifically Hawthorne Woods.
Okay, I grew up in Buffalo Grove.
Oh my God! So I went to Stevenson High School.
Me too.
Really? How old are you?
I'm 34.
I'm 34.
We went to Stevenson at the same time.
That's crazy.
Who'd you hang out with? It was such a big school.
So this is crazy, but it's also not that crazy, right? Because when we were
same
going
year,
there,
we're both the same age. 2008.
2009.
Oh,
so that's
you were a year
little
younger.
something
Okay.
there. Okay, that makes
that
me feel
makes
a little
more
bit better.
sense.
But
That's a good question.
even still, in that 2-year time span, there was still roughly 5,000 kids at our school.
Yes.
And so kind of an easy thing to have not really run into one another. But
I also
now
wasn't
I
at
feel
school
like I'm
very
getting,
much. Same.
You have such
look
a familiar
Yeah.
face.
Now you look very familiar.
Yeah.
So I hung out with
But
a lot with like.
yeah, tell me some kids. This is some real inside baseball for
Whatever.
anybody
I'm curious
that didn't
now.
go to. Yeah.
Arthur Schlendek, Igor Kiss, Andrew
Igor
Tracy.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Igor
Kiss
Kiss
is one of my best friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know Ray Ginsburg or his older brother Zev Ginsburg?
Yes, I know Zev well.
Yeah. So I hadn't seen Igor in years, and it was Zev's, I want to say, birthday, maybe a year or so ago.
Yes.
Were you there for it?
No, but I talked to Igor after. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so Igor and I reconnected that day, and he's got a kid or two.
Two now.
Two. I have two myself.
Do you really?
I do, yeah. I've got
Congrats.
a 5-year-old son, Declan, and an 11-year-old daughter, Veda.
Hell
Love
yeah.
them with all my heart, obviously. But, no, it's just cool to see, both of us all grown up, and,
Yeah.
we were... I'm not going to, put his business out there, and he doesn't need to put mine out there, but we were in entirely different places in our high school lives
1,000%.
than either of us are now, and he seems to really be thriving.
Yeah, he's doing good, man.
Yeah.
They moved out to Lake Zurich. They got a nice place out there.
Awesome.
I wish I could visit them more. It's just so fucking far.
I get it.
45 minutes off the highway. If you've been on the highway for 45 minutes.
So Lake Zurich is really not far from like where my parents are in Long Grove right now, but it's a part of Long Grove that's very close to Lake Zurich.
Oh, by Gilmer Road over there?
100% by Gilmer Road off Diamond Lake and all that.
Yeah.
More inside baseball for our global audience here. But
what is Chicago if not people talking intersections?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we just need an old style, and we need to mention 4 more intersections.
For sure.
And we get sponsored by Wiener Circle.
I would love that. I would love
Portillo's.
that. Right? But yeah, I mean, it was a good childhood.
Hell yeah! So you grew up in Hawthorne Woods?
Hawthorne Woods off Gilmer Road. Yeah.
So okay, I actually know where you were. Did you know
Woodlawn and?
Did you know Erica Barrera?
Yeah, dear friend of mine.
She was my high school girlfriend. We dated for like 3 years. Is that how I know you? Were you a DJ?
Wait a minute,
Tony.
Wait a minute. Is your uncle Jeff Garland?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I hung out with you several times with Erica.
You had really long hair at the time.
I had down to here.
Okay.
Oh my God. I knew you looked familiar.
So I've met your uncle. I
Yeah.
brought him pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other week.
No, not the other way.
Oh, okay.
So were you around him for any of that stuff? And
For the Larry David
have
shit?
Have you met Larry and stuff?
Yeah, I was around for a little bit of it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Did you go to the Chicago theater?
God. I didn't.
Okay.
And my cousin went to the show. This overlapped with the Sebastian stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of one or the other. I got into the Sebastian stuff. I was not as lucky. So I would say dear friends with JB Smoove. You know, he's been a huge supporter.
He's probably the nicest and funniest of everybody on that show.
Yeah,
he's so cool.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Yeah. I have had mixed experiences with your uncle, but
by the way, me too. Yeah. Most of my experiences aren't positive.
Okay, all right.
But you know what? We love him.
Yeah. Okay. That's so funny.
So wait, hang on. I just want to clarify real quick.
Yeah,
you were Erica's neighbor in Hawthorne Woods, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was at her wedding and whatever.
She's married.
She's married. Yeah.
Who's she married to?
You got me on the spot.
It doesn't matter.
Edit this out because I didn't come up with his name immediately. But we've only been around each other a couple times. Oh my God, it's gonna kill me. But
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, please cut that part. Yeah.
I had no idea she was married.
Yeah.
We've hung out several times. Like
in the
not
past,
in the
past
while.
year.
Yeah.
Year and a half she got married, something like that.
Oh my God. Okay, well, good for her. Congrats.
Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah.
I got married also.
Congratulations to you.
And then I got divorced.
Okay, well, even more congratulations
Thank
to you.
you.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
better this way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I was trying to place you.
That's funny.
I never expected Tony to be Professor Pizza.
I originally just thought I recognized you from the Chicago comedy scene, which I am sure I have also seen you through whatever Chicago comedy shit. But wild. Yeah.
That's so crazy. All right, so we grew up in the same neighborhood. Where'd the name come from?
Professor Pizza. So I had at this time in my life, I was on the opening team of Pauly G's Logan Square. I was like the first employee that owner, Derek Tung, ever brought on. And we open. I'm working kind of the dining room behind the bar, talking to a customer, and we strike up a conversation, exchange some information. Some weeks, some months, whatever it was, pass. He hits me up and he's like, hey, I've got this friend that is a chemistry professor at DePaul. He's I think, a department lead. It's part of his responsibility as a department lead or something to that effect that he has to teach this like intro to college in the city course for freshmen going to DePaul University, right? And this professor, shout out Professor Tim French, was looking for a chef in Chicago to just speak on that, being a chef in Chicago.
Was Professor Tim French a chef?
Say again?
Was Professor Tim French a chef?
He was not. No.
Professor Tim French sounds like the most professor chef name
totally
could come up with.
Totally. He might be able to throw down a little in the kitchen, but definitely a chemistry whiz and a great guy. And he invited me into his class. I spoke to his class about being, a chef, a cook in the city, really, at that time. And Chicago cuisine, Italian-American cuisine. And that went well enough to where another teacher there asked me to do a similar thing. And I got an opportunity to speak there like 3-4 times. And maybe after the first or second time I did it, I can't quite remember. Might have even been that first time. This was in that era of Instagram, and I was new to Instagram, just trying to build a following of any kind at that point, where hashtags were really being rewarded by the algorithm. And I just liked the alliteration of how Professor Pizza sounded together.
Oh, it sounds cool.
And
it's a cool
it
name.
just seemed like it went with that post at the time. Yeah. Here I am talking about pizza as a guest lecturer at this college, right?
Yeah.
And I hashtagged the post. I didn't think of anything of it. After that, I had an uncle reach out to me, my Uncle Mark, and he's like, you really got something there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, speaking in front of the class. Like, I don't know how many opportunities I'll get to do that, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's cool, but, like, that Professor Pizza thing. I'm like, you mean the hashtag?
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever. Like, that's a brand. That's a name. You need to stick with that.
Yeah.
And at this time in my career, I was still like, yeah, I do pizza and I love pizza, but like I still kind of want to be seen as a chef and take myself seriously and you know, not pigeonhole myself. But like the reality is like I knew deep down that pizza was calling me more than anything else in the industry, more than even like my slight interest in fine dining and some of this other stuff I had exposed myself to. And the more I thought about pizza, the more I realized like pizza's not something where you take yourself too seriously. You know, it's like it's by nature a fun time, right?
Yeah, it is a fun.
You know,
yeah, it's not that dressed. Yeah,
it's like let's get a pie. You know, it's
it.
a pizza party, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things around pizza that just signify a good time.
Yeah.
And you know, you hear Professor Pizza not even knowing what it is, knowing that it might be a person that goes by it or a pizzeria or what have you. It just, generally speaking, sounds fun.
Yeah.
And as an Italian guy with an Italian name and a vowel at the end of his name and, you know, first name Tony or Anthony, like, there's just so many of us out there making pizza that, like, to separate yourself from the pack, being like, I'm Anthony Scardino or, you know, Antonio, which I'm not Antonio Scardino, I'm Anthony Scardino.
Yeah.
Like, there's just like enough of that out there already, you know, of those bippity boppity boopity names, as I call them, you know, to where it's like, I got one too.
Yeah.
However, I bet you've never heard of Professor Pizza before.
Right. Yeah, you go to Brooklyn, there's a Tony's Pizza, there's a Luigi's Pizza, there's a
and then every version of Luigi's and Tony's Pizza, right? Like,
all right, let's talk shop for a second.
Sure.
Favorite pizza city? Outside of your pizza.
For sure. I mean, I think anybody that doesn't give their well-due props to New York City is kind of like they're silly. Like they don't understand what's happening.
They're being a fucking idiot.
I think so.
You said it here. Anybody who's like New York pizza is a fucking idiot.
I agree with that statement.
Okay.
I would also just say that like there's enough pizza and enough pizzerias in New York City for them to have the most good pizzerias.
There's enough
for them to have the most
best.
incredible pizzerias, for them to have the most mediocre pizzerias, for them to have the most terrible pizzerias. They just have the most pizzerias.
Okay.
Right? So in the largest market globally of pizzerias, they also happen to have some of the best that I've ever had. You know?
What's your go-to in New York?
In New York, you know, what I love about that scene is that they don't really rest on their laurels. Certainly there's the classic spots that are kind of baked in, no pun intended, but like it's a scene that's ever growing, right?
Yeah.
And it's some of the, you know, new cats out there that are doing some of the most impressive stuff, in my opinion. The Lindustries, the Mama
Lindustry's
Two's.
my favorite.
It's my favorite. That's why I always start with them. Lindustries, Mama Two's, Bellucci's.
That's where we'll go for lunch. We're all going to New York tomorrow.
Oh, I couldn't recommend it enough, and I know you agree. So yeah, it's among the very best.
Lindustry, Mama Two's,
Feeney.
You been to Robert's Pizza in Williamsburg?
In Williamsburg?
Yeah, it's like East Williamsburg.
No, we have a Robert's Pizza Co. here in Chicago, and he's a friend of mine, Robert Garvey, who makes really good pizza. I haven't had that though. I've had other good pizza in Williamsburg for sure.
Okay.
But that's one you'd recommend?
Yeah, I didn't get to try the full. He sold me on a stracciatella slice.
Okay, for sure.
Which was prosciutto and burrata.
Okay.
And it with some chili sauce on it.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
Yeah, and that's almost similar to like the Lindustry slice too.
Yes,
they don't do the chili oil, I don't believe, on that slice.
No, I might be making up chili oil, but that sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with burrata or stracciatella.
No,
sure.
it's delicious.
Yeah, it's a cheater.
Yeah,
like the whipped ricotta that you
your
see
whipped
all over
ricotta
my
is
pizzas
unreal.
too.
Your
It's
whipped
another
ricotta
cheater.
is unreal.
For sure. Thank you, man.
The whipped ricotta and the hot honey together.
Yeah,
is really.
I always
pretty
say
good combo.
we're not the first to it. We don't necessarily make the best. We certainly don't make the worst. But this is our version of it, and
I would say you do the
damn,
best.
we've sold a lot of it. I appreciate that.
Because I go to places a lot and I've had the whipped ricotta and honey. Not to
Yeah.
mention names, I won't.
Sure.
But there's some predominant whipped ricotta and honey places.
Right.
And I'm always like, I don't want this bullshit. I just want a piece of pizza. But yours tastes more like pizza to me than this whipped ricotta.
Thank you.
Honey. I still feel like I'm eating pizza, not something else.
So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like the devil's in the details. You want to use really nice ricotta, right?
Yeah.
How are you applying it to the pizza? How much of it are you applying it to the pizza?
How much?
Where on the slice are you plating it, right? All of that lends to the kind of mouthfeel and experience you're going to have biting into that slice. And we've sold more of that combo on our grandma-style crust, which is like a thinner, crispier version of a Sicilian-style crust, which we also offer.
I like the... I think
than any other pizza that we've ever made.
Is the grandma's one you bring to most places when you go?
I do.
That's the one I've had. I like that. It reminds me of a Sicilian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a little thinner, a little crispier. We also have a thicker, more pillowy Sicilian that's also fantastic, but it's just a different experience.
Okay.
As is our Detroit or Crackerton or New York. So we try and pay homage to as much as we can.
Where do you see Chicago on the list? Is Chicago number 2, or do you have other places before? Pizza-wise.
I think we have a phenomenal scene.
So not number 2.
I don't know, man. I mean, there's some sleepers. People don't realize how many high quality pizzerias there are in Las Vegas and even Los Angeles. I might put Los Angeles at number 2.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't hear about Los Angeles being a pizza city.
As a state, I might put as a state, I might put Jersey as number 2.
Okay, that's close. I get it.
Or is it a city with great pizza history, and of those places that are still around, they're still incredible places. I put New Haven very high on the list. I just went out there for the first time, and I participated in this Abitz feast, which is their pizza festival out there. Abitz is what they refer to as pizza out there. It's kind of derivative of Neapolitan or Neapolitana type dialect, right? And they make incredible pizza out there. But their pizza scene is more old school. It's more like the places that always made great pizza here are still those places, and they still make great pizza.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas you see in New York, you see in LA, there's new, exciting places pushing the limits all the time.
Okay.
In a way that I don't think you necessarily see in New Haven as much.
They have the white sauce pizza, right?
Yeah, they're known for the clam. They're known for the
pizza,
potato.
yeah.
They're known for, just a plain, which is really no cheese. It's kind of like derivative of a marinara pizza, again, from Naples, right? And I think Chicago's another city where it's we're starting to have, or we've been having a renaissance of pizza for the last 10, 15 years, starting with places like Spaccanapoli doing great Neapolitan pizza, and you got Bonci doing great Roman pizza, and Pauly G's doing great Detroit-style pizza, and, I'm this freak on the block doing 5 different styles because I can't make up my mind, and I enjoy it all.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got our hometown heroes that have been around forever, whether that's Gino's East or Connie's or Home Run Inn or Vito and Nick's or Pat's, Phil's, whatever the case may be. We've got great lineage and a great current scene too. But again, you look at a bigger city, it's not weird that you might see a bigger scene.
Totally. What's your number 1 in Chicago outside of your place?
Outside
and
of
Pauly
mine,
G's? Just because you work there.
I would say Kim's Uncle Pizza. Or wait, is it Uncle? Yeah, Kim's Uncle Pizza. It's a weird orientation of words, but Kim's Uncle Pizza, which and it's in the suburbs. They do cracker thin. I think they make a phenomenal product. They used to be, when they were in the city, pizza fried chicken ice cream. Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Yeah. So they were attached to Maria's and Kimski, and now my buddies in their old space. Henry with Three Little Pigs, which non-pizza, but
Three Little Pigs.
Anytime I got a microphone in front of me and we're talking Chicago, I got to give my boy Henry some
I've been
love.
trying to get Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, for those that don't know,
Ghost Kitchen, and then
that's where we met.
Yeah,
we met in Humble Park in a former Ghost Kitchen space together. But some of the best Cantonese, Chinese food. He does some American twists. He has fun with it, and just incredible food.
Yeah, I tried to order, but they had such a strange. There was like times you could order,
and
I could never figure it out. And then
listen,
he blew up, and I still
that was us
been.
for a long time, and it wasn't to be esoteric or trendy. It was because it's like just a couple of guys in a tiny kitchen pushing out as much as they can with very little in the way of resource. And he's grown. He's got 2 spaces himself.
Yeah, now he's got like actual restaurants.
He's in Bridgeport now, like I said, in the old pizza fried chicken ice cream space attached to Kimski, and he's got a ghost kitchen in River North as well. So crushing the game.
So what favorite style of pizza? If you had to pick one.
Man, it's really tough. I mean, I would say the style that's most important to my story is grandma style. When I kind of branched off on my own.
What is grandma style?
Grandma style is that thinner, crispier version of a Sicilian style pizza.
Oh, that's still, the one I see.
Still a pan pizza, right? It's opened up or extended. When you think of New York style, you would say stretched, but this isn't really stretched as much as it is dimpled out, almost in the style of like a focaccia, right? And a shallow layer of olive oil that kind of gives you this shallow fried texture to the bottom of it that, is really crispy on the exterior, still has some give, some chew on the interior. It's one of those things where it's like when I started on my own, just popping up out of a back kitchen in a sports bar in Wrigleyville, or even before that in my apartment, really in the thick of the pandemic, this was the one style I was offering, right? And so people really got to know me for that. And at that time, and even really still, like, you hear about all these other styles in Chicago. Man, there's so few places still calling out grandma style pizza. I can't claim to be the only one anymore. And I don't know if this is true or not, but Delinsky called me kind of the first person to bring the style here to Chicago
and popularize it and bring it here,
to at least popularize it, right? Maybe somebody was doing it before me, but either way, I was having a lot of fun with it for a long time, and it's still like, when I get a chance to have a bite, I'm like, yeah, this is still where it's at.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go on like pizza tours? Like, you talk about all these places you've been and had the pizza. Do you find yourself going like, oh, let's go to Boston, try the pizza. Let's go to New Haven. Let's go
when
to
I
LA.
get a chance, I did most recently I was in New Haven, right, for that Beats Feast, and my buddy Colin, who puts on that festival and who has a tour of himself of his own, called The Taste of New Haven. He took me around town, and unfortunately it was a shorter trip than I would have liked. I would have liked to have, tried more spots, but got a chance to go to Modern and some other spots that weren't even necessarily pizza. They've got the original hamburger out there, too.
What's his name? George Mott's, right?
Well, he talks about it all the time, but it's a place.
I know about it.
I want to say it's like Louis maybe, but they've got this special kind of like vertical toaster that they sandwich the patty real thick, almost like meatball, like hunk of meat that they throw in there and just kind of cook it between like these two radiators. It almost seems like, and
that's the one that I've heard most
cool.
associated with the first hamburger. But
Yeah.
there's several other places claiming it. There's
Claiming
one in
it.
Ohio, I think,
Sure.
where they just lay down a bed of lard and onions.
Yes.
And then they bake the patty, smash the
Those
patty
are
into
among my
that.
favorite smash burgers.
Yeah.
Is the Oklahoma onion burgers with
Oh,
the
so good.
onion smashed into it.
Been to
They
the
get so
region?
crispy. Well, maybe it was 1 or 2 years ago. I was out there. So I'm a member of this team, the World Pizza Champions, right?
Tell me about
and
this.
it's
So you're like a pizza secret agent superhero kind of thing.
I'm somewhat of a hired gun in certain experiences. And
Dom thought you would have a
scenarios.
utility belt. He was like, is he ready to go?
We got the pendy. We got the
You're like the
pendant,
Duff
but,
man walking
yeah.
in with like your beer on your belt. You
That's
get your
right.
pizza
That's
stuff.
right. Exactly. But it's a brother and sisterhood of pizzeria owners and operators and pizza industry professionals that have kind of banded together their respective knowledge and resources to help one another with their businesses. And also we have a philanthropic arm where we give back to the community. We also compete together and represent each other on a global stage
I
when we
saw you
compete.
Instagram. You had just gotten back from the World Pizza something.
Yeah, so Pizza Expo in Vegas is a big one for
That's
us,
the one.
and I tend to compete better and better every year. I still have not taken home the gold, but was inducted on the team just for my,
All right.
I suppose, contributions to our industry, to our art form, and forever humbled for that opportunity. But that led to us eventually banding together, writing a 40-author pizza cookbook, right? Kind of the first and only of its kind, where we all submitted something. We all got down to who was at the time the, I don't know, we'll call him the chairman of the board. Of the team, his pizzeria in
So the
Tulsa.
dream of yours to one day be the chairman.
I
of
don't
the
know.
pizza
It's
board?
a lot of responsibility. I
That
respect
feels like
anybody
the
in that
Godfather
world.
position. That's like the guy you don't fuck with.
Not anytime soon, and I don't think they
I
would.
want you to
They
be
would not
there.
ask me anytime soon either. But
I hope you're gonna get there one day.
at some point, maybe. Yeah.
And then one day maybe I'll ask you a
I'm
favor.
thrilled to offer them whatever I can.
Yeah.
I feel like they offer me way more than I offer them, but I try and even the score as much as possible. But we got down there and all took the photos of our pizzas and the video. 'Cause there's QR codes in it that lend to videos for further explanation of the recipes, right? And while I was down there, I got to try some badass onion burgers for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and some great food in general. But
What keeps you going?
man, I mean,
Like through like I want to like think of like the worst. I'm sure it's been a tough come up
dude,
trying
it's
to build
tough,
these
it's
restaurants.
tough right now.
Tough right now, but I'm sure you've had tough. Maybe this is the toughest. Maybe you've had tougher times. What really keeps you going when you want to
Yeah.
fucking throw in the towel?
It's multifaceted, right? Like if you want to look at it from like strictly a survival standpoint,
Yeah.
like I have two wonderful kids that it's my duty to provide for them. I'm not the sole provider of them by any stretch. They have wonderful mothers, both very hardworking, but I got to do my part as well, and that's the number one driving force, right? A, because I love them, but B, out of necessity of like, it is
Yeah.
my job to provide for them,
Totally.
right? You get that out of the way, and it's like, look, I really do love at the core of what I do, like I love it, right? I may not love every facet of it.
It's work
day
at the
to
end of the
day,
day, even if you
right?
love it.
But I love it at its core. When people are enjoying my pizzas, and even nowadays, like when people are enjoying my pizzas and I wasn't the one to make it, like it's a pretty special feeling,
Yeah.
because now
Because it's your recipe, right? I mean,
Not only is it my recipe-
Are you curating all the recipes though?
I created quite a bit of them,
Mm-hmm.
but like in wanting to surround myself with people, smarter and more talented than myself, like I've given those opportunities to those people that like have showed an eagerness to learn or participate, and I've got guys like Mike Sundstrom, who's one of my executive chefs. He goes by the Peacemaker. Peace as in like a piece of pizza on Instagram. Shoot him a follow. He's come up with some of our higher selling pizzas, like our mortadella and pistachio pesto.
It
right?
Sounds amazing. Mortadella and pistachio pesto.
Yeah, we've got another
That
executive
sounds good.
chef at our Old Town location, Fernando Mendez, that also gives me incredible insight, as I'm working on food cost and dialing in what's going to be, a profitable menu, and just like all the stuff that really does not come naturally to me. Like, he's a whiz at, right? And gives me a lot of perspective and guidance on. So, yeah, the core of it is my stuff for sure. But like, I'm proud and thankful to say it's not just me anymore.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot
It's
of other
growing.
folks contributing, and then people give me a lot of credit for our branding and our social media output, and like really like 99.9% of that credit really belongs to my cousin Michael. And
Is he like a social media guy?
he is, but he's a marketing guy, he's a music guy, he's DJ'd and been a drummer.
Didn't you used to be a DJ?
I did, and
I remember that.
We kind of fed off one another, but like eventually I gave it up and he stuck with it, and he's at any point of him DJing, he was better than I am, or was certainly than I am. I cannot do it anymore, but he's a virtuoso musician, and a lot of being a musician and like lending that taste to the brand and lending like the general marketing ability that he, had to come up with on his own just to market himself over the years as a DJ or as a drummer. Like, he's lent all of that to the business, and I know we're so much better off for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Let's do it.
What is your favorite restaurant?
Rapid fire.
First thing that comes to mind.
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm going to get some flack for this, but like...
It's the least rapid fire.
I know.
You gotta preface
Here's the thing, because like I have so many friends in this industry, and like... Okay, so I'm just going to say the first thing that came to my mind is Sushi-san.
Sushi? I fucking love that. On Chicago Avenue?
Yeah, downtown, yes, Chicago Avenue. Yeah, I've celebrated several birthdays there. Like, whether they were mine, whether they're somebody else's. I've gone on some nicer dates there. There was times where I worked at Dobro's managing that pizzeria.
I fucking love that place.
Yeah, and
I didn't know you worked there.
I would do trades with it. I managed it for almost 2 years prior to the pandemic.
That was like my go-to drunk late night pizza spot.
I love it. For so many, it still is.
Oh yeah.
But I just look. Is there better sushi in our city? Without a doubt, there is.
No one's gonna judge you. I said first thing that comes to your mind.
But here's the thing: it is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is.
By any measure. And yet it's more approachable price-wise than some of the stuff that is a tier above it.
So for sushi, do you know Saku?
I don't know if I know Saku.
Saku Yaganawa? He's a
Put me on.
Pretty good comedian based in Chicago and Japan.
I'm like, are we still like sushi places here in Chicago?
Well, yeah. I ask him all the time. Like, I'm just shameless. I was like, you fucking know. What's the best Japanese place I can go to?
Yeah.
And he gives me two. Sushi-san and Kokoro. You ever been to Kokoro?
No.
Kokoro, it's on Wells Street and Huron, and it's kitty corner from the Hooters there. It's by Avli, if you know where that is, downtown in River North.
Let's be honest, I know where the Hooters is downtown.
Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying, my guy? Fuck yeah. You a rewards member?
I mean, I feel rewarded every time I'm there. What more do I need?
It's over there, and it's traditional, like Japanese. Like he's like everybody from Japan when they come here, I take them there.
Okay,
and it's phenomenal.
Dude, we gotta go out for some sushi.
Let's do. You know what's a fun night? What I've been doing?
Yeah.
All right, I hit Kokoro, right?
Yeah.
You get some sake bombs, and you just or they got like these big dishes of like rice. My favorite is just the rice and the eel.
Okay. Oh,
battered in eel sauce.
Don't get me started.
Dude, I'll eat
fucking unagi. Like, are you kidding me?
Ooh, but like with the eels covered in eel. So I do that. Do a bunch of sake bombs, and then there's a bar 2.5 blocks from there I like to walk to called Clark Street Ale House.
Sure.
And Clark Street Ale House live plays sumo tournaments.
Amazing.
So they're at like 11 to 4 a.m. because Japan time.
Right.
And they live play it, and like there is an audience there for it. So you could watch, you'll quickly understand the rules, and watch a bunch of people lose their fucking mind. Betting circles will start.
Some
guy will lose a finger. Yeah. It's a fun
It's gonna
time.
happen. I can't wait.
Fuck
Amazing.
yeah! All right, so favorite restaurant, Sushi-san.
Yeah.
What? And I don't. Okay, favorite Chicago staple.
I mean, I guess Malort is up there.
Malort, great answer. What? And will you drink Malort?
Yeah,
or do you
I will.
Think you will?
No, I will. I think it's one of those things where like, branding really gets me, and the fact that they have so leaned into the fact that it tastes like shit is incredible.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It's a Swedish wormwood liquor.
And it's fun because it's like a lot
Can
of
you look
cities
that up,
have
Corey?
a thing that's
What is Malort?
like,
Is it a Swedish wormwood liquor? Did I just fucking...
I didn't know that it was
Autism that
Swedish.
up?
I knew you got to be right about the wormwood thing. I knew that, but I didn't know Swedish Jeppson's Malort or whatever.
Wormwood-based liquor.
From where? Where's the wormwood-based liquor
The
from?
Swedish part is the part I didn't know, but we've got a lot of Swedish.
Fuck yeah.
Okay,
I got a touch of the tism today.
there's a lot of Swedish influence in
I'm rolling
Chicago,
with
so
it.
that tracks. But
Yeah, we have a big Swedish and Polish pop.
I would say like a lot of cities, like you go to like Milwaukee or Kenosha or something like that, you're probably gonna have to like down some Rumpelmans or some shit like that. But I feel like
Brush your goddamn teeth.
we really have figured out the marketing for our disgusting local shot.
Yeah,
In a way that others haven't.
Some places it's Jaeger. Some places it's some
Right.
like trash moonshine. You ever had the local
But
shot
is
in
Jaeger
Tennessee?
really like who does that belong to? I feel like that's just like,
Danish people? I don't fucking
but
know.
it's not like, I'm in like Philly, let's have some Jaeger.
That's true.
But
Chicago
if it's in
is
Chicago,
Malort.
it's really like let's have some shots of Malort. Let's do it.
Malort. I think, is there another liquor that's associated with a place? All I can think is Bourbon, Kentucky,
For sure, Bourbon, Kentucky. That's all that really comes to mind. But,
Moonshine, and a bunch of other places.
but it's like it's even more blue collar because it's like bourbon's like
You're
delicious.
not gonna drink Malort,
and
in
bourbon's
Seattle.
delicious. Like
Yeah.
it's not like how many places have like a shitty shot? Because I think like for example, Rumpelman's is disgusting, right?
I
But if you
hate
go to
brushing my
But if you
goddamn
go
teeth
to
with that shit.
Wisconsin, like that's kind of a thing out there, right?
Well, yeah, of course they like it.
But I don't think it has like the branding appeal that we've been able to capture with Malort.
Corey, do you drink Rumpelmans?
No, I don't.
What do you drink when you go
Again,
to the bar?
making this
He's
the
from
least
Wisconsin.
rapid fire.
Just beer.
Just beer.
There you go. All right.
If you had to have a shot, what would it be?
I've been really into the tequila lately.
Me too. I fucks with tequila. What do you think of this
The
tequila?
older we get, it's just good. This is smooth.
This is
The older we get, the more tequila is kind of the move. I feel like.
I'll tell you why. I made the switch from bourbon, scotch, whiskey to tequila.
Yeah.
And I used to do it as a summer winter thing.
Yeah.
And now I've moved into it as a permanent tequila thing. Scotch on occasion, because when I drink only tequila, one, I never get a hangover.
Yeah.
Two, I've learned it's very low carb, low calorie, so you don't really gain weight from
For
it
sure.
or get bloated.
Yeah.
And three, it is, if you were to look at all of the chemical makeups of all those alcohols,
Yeah.
tequila is, they say it's the only one classified as an upper. I disagree. It's still alcohol probably,
Sure.
but it's the only one that won't give you any of those like weird effects. Now, if you want to go to Cabo and drink a bunch of Jose Cuervo, you're going to be fucking running around naked at 3 in the morning. But like when you drink this,
You get the
and this
good
is
stuff.
Yeah.
So what is this I'm sipping on now?
Centenario. It's
Okay.
a $32 bottle.
Okay.
I found out about it because when I went down to Mexico, I was like, "What do you guys drink?" Like, and
So
everybody
not the
drinks
cheapest stuff on the
Centenario.
shelf, but still like approachable.
It's not the cheapest, no.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go the cheapest, you probably go like Sauser or something. But anything
No,
under
no.
$27, $26 is probably shit.
I just mean this drink's very top shelf, but like 32, it's like you can grab that.
Oh, totally. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
expensive.
Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
but if it drinks like
yeah,
it should
yeah,
be more.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
What's your go-to liquor outside tequila? I assume.
Actually, it's gonna probably more so gin, because
Oh.
here's my thing. Like a lot of times when I'm going to a bar, if they're not known for their cocktails, I'm not gonna be the guy that's like, let me get a aviation. Like if that's not what they do there. Like
Yeah.
if they don't do that there, or if I'm at a comedy club and I quickly gotta order something, I'm just gonna order a gin and tonic.
It's an easy move.
It's
Like getting a vodka soda or a vodka
exactly.
tonic, gin
It's
and
my
tonic,
vodka
easy.
soda, but
Yeah.
like it's for me, it's just like I don't know. It's always been kind of refreshing and like kind of gets the job done pretty quickly. So a lot of gin and tonics for sure, especially like. I don't go out to a lot of bars, but like I do see a decent amount of comedy, and like that's a very churn 'em and burn 'em atmosphere where it's like, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things. I'm usually in there for free anyways because I brought some pizza. I'm trying to be easygoing. Let me just get a G&T.
It's an easy thing. You're not a dick ordering
and
a fucking
for that same
old-fashioned.
reason, I do a decent amount of seltzers too.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm loving the experience, but it's like, this works.
It's easy. I don't want to trouble you.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite band?
Favorite band? I mean, one of the best live shows I ever saw, and they're kind of like genre-wise in a couple different camps, is like The Roots. Like,
hell yeah.
The Roots put on a world-class show. I mean, I was a kid like at Summerfest seeing The Roots. Yeah. And so it's like seeing a way cooler show than you'd have the opportunity to maybe see at that age otherwise. And I mean, Black Thought's just one of the best rappers of all time. For a guy like Questlove to be a musical director and then earlier on in their career, like have guys like Scott Storch involved. I mean, just phenomenal musicianship and like entertainers. It's no surprise that, they're a late night band. Like they're entertainers. It's incredible.
How do you relax?
I smoke a lot of hash.
Specifically hash?
Yeah, man.
Like oil? Or like you actually like pull out like a softball of hash and...
Like I've got it in the car and like thought about bringing it up and I might still bring it up for you
you
guys.
should after we're done.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do a lot with... I do a lot of collabs and just like they've been a huge supporter of mine over the years and I've tried to show the love right back to the Made Gallery is a high-end glass gallery. We're obviously talking about functional glass stuff you spoke out of, right? High-end glass gallery and hash and cannabis like lounge, member-only lounge, like in the way that some people might go to a cigar lounge.
Where is
this? Is for like the cannabis connoisseur. So they've got a new location off Grand Avenue, directly to the left of Tempesta Market in the old Bellanote space. They were on Grand Avenue they were on Lake Street for many years and Chicago Avenue before that. But they're really an institution for those that know in this city and for those that know that are outside of the city but get a chance to visit when they're in town. And like, if you enjoy cannabis and enjoy high-end, heady stuff, like that's kind of a mecca here in the city. Yeah.
I went to one of those in Barcelona years ago before weed was legal here.
Totally.
And it was very cool.
Spanibus is like the big show out there.
Yeah, but it was like this room.
Oops, sorry.
With a bunch of fucking like people in it, just like chilling on couches and shit. It was a very cool vibe. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's hash. It's certainly obviously comedy shows, right? But then also in the way that the comedy community has been incredible to me. The house music community here in Chicago has also been incredible
with the house
to me.
music people too.
Yeah, man. Like I got a decent number of friends that if they don't DJ, they're like show promoters. Like they promote for their own companies and they'll book out the venues. They'll rent or own their own high-end audio system.
Yeah.
They'll book in the DJ. Sometimes they're flying them in. Like House Calls and Disconnect are like the two premier groups I would say in the city.
Sick.
And there's certainly a couple other ones, but like those are my friends and like they just like Over Lala, my buddy who owns Disconnected, an official after party at Timeout Market in the West Loop. So it's just such a gigantic house music party in that food hall. Abby, who owns House Calls, recently booked John Summit, who's one of the biggest DJs in the world, to perform at Portillo's downtown.
I did see that. That was cool. That's right by my house.
Super esoteric, different venues in the city where, again, like, I've always been, if I have one motto in life, it's get in where you fit in. Yeah. And for me, like, I've just always wanted to be a part of the hang. Like, I'm not a DJ. I'm not a comic. But, like, I've got this pizza.
Fun to hang. Yeah.
Let me bring it through and see if we can find some common interests.
Hell yeah. That's a great motto, man.
And it's worked out for me. So.
All right, I got two more for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, what place, what somewhere you haven't traveled yet that you would really love to go,
You know, I kind of gave this one away earlier. I still haven't been to Italy.
Yeah.
But let's say that one's obvious. Scratch
Sure.
that right off the list.
Well, is there a particular place in Italy?
For sure, we could do it that way. You know, I think it's important that I probably first and foremost like visit where I don't care what order it happens in, but like I would love to see where my lineage is from: Sicily, Calabria, right? Southern Italy. My mother's side's Calabrese, and my father's side Sicilian, right? So I'd love to see those areas of southern Italy. But then you talk about pizza and pizza lineage and like the birthplace of pizza being Naples. Love to check out Naples. Love to check out Rome. Would love to check out the Emilia Romagna area in Modena. Kind of more so up north, where they're doing super ambitious cuisine up there. All throughout Italy, really. But, you know, Spain, France, India,
The cool shit.
Korea, Japan, Mexico City. I think
I really want to take a trip down there and get some tacos, dude.
Yeah, Mexico City. Apparently today.
I know. It was 5 to 9.
We fucked up, right? There's like this Michelin star taco pop-up. I mean, they're based in Mexico City.
At Tremolo?
Something to that effect,
like that in
right?
Wicker Park.
And they're popping up at another, I guess, good taqueria in
They're
Wicker
gonna
Park.
be they're gonna be doing it through all November.
Right.
So they'll be here through November 25th.
Tonight there's 4 tacos. I think
Yeah.
we missed it, right? And then all throughout the month,
Yeah.
you can get 2 of the 4 tacos.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna hit it.
We gotta hit it.
But I mean, I've been looking too. Like a flight to Mexico City is like $250.
No, I know.
Head down there for like a Saturday, Sunday. Eat your way through that motherfucker.
I know.
And get on a plane home. That sounds fun as
I've been
fuck.
saying it. And even like, you know, domestically, I haven't spent enough time in New York. I've never been to New Orleans, which is actually like
New Orleans is one of my favorite food
So like,
cities.
at least on the Sicilian side, like that was our Ellis Island. Like we came through
To New Orleans.
and I guess a lot of Sicilians did. I've not been yet. I'd love to go.
It's so good.
I've spent a little bit of time in Austin. I want to spend a lot of time in Austin.
Austin was really Austin. Where was your barbecue spot in Austin that you hit?
I went to La Barbecue. I didn't get to Franklin's.
I went to La Barbecue.
I loved it.
I wound up there on accident because Franklin's and Terry Black's were too long.
I went to Terry Black's and loved it too.
I went there too the second time, but La
Okay.
Barbecue I wound up on accident. I was like, this is, and it was late too, and
There
they
are
were
people
like, we're
that
out
say
of
their
brisket.
briskets. Right? I mean, right? Here's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
once it's that good, it's all just
There's
like,
just levels to that shit. Then
Yeah.
it's like, which sauce do you like better?
right.
And that's why I like Terry Black's. I like their sauce a lot. All right, last question for you.
Badass.
What is your biggest goal you have for the future?
Biggest goal. You know, I'm still so early on in this that I can't say that I'm like this. You know, I can't say that I'm like super financially stable yet. So I look at just like taking my kids on vacation, making sure that, you know, guys like my cousin who and some of the guys in the kitchen that really helped me start this, like I want to make sure that they're okay. Like I want to make sure that everyone that like helped me get this far along, that like, you know, I saw this interview, this Complex Blueprint interview with Scooter Braun years ago, and he made this comment where he's like, I just want all my friends to have vacation money. And what vacation money is we can all go on the same dope vacation.
Oh my God.
And just because I'm the guy that has the money, I don't have to pay for everybody else to go on the vacation with me.
Because that's awkward.
Because they also have the money.
That's such a fun
And I don't need to
goal.
be the reason that they have the money, but like if I'm part of the reason they have the money, sick. Let's all spend it together.
I agree.
You know,
I'm 34 and I just got my friends to all go to Seattle.
Yeah.
And we stayed at somebody's house.
Yeah.
But I was like, come on, we should be going places. Get a credit card. Be an adult. Let's go to fucking Italy. Let's go get fucking high in Rome and fucking fuck
and
around.
let it be known, I'm not there yet. I don't have vacation money yet. My friends and family don't have it like that.
But that's
or at least
the goal.
the ones
That's such
that
a fun goal.
That's my goal, right? You know, like I want to take my kids on vacation. I want to go on vacation without my kids, right?
Vacation money is such
I
a
want
smart
to go,
goal.
you know, just like vacation money.
So your goal is
Because
vacation
if you have
money
vacation money, you've already taken care of all the things that
that you just said.
you
your
have to
family
take
and
care
shit,
of before
yeah.
that, anyways, right? So
Yeah, vacation's a surplus.
it's a surplus. You'd
Yeah.
like to have a little bit of surplus, but like even like just professionally to put money and you know
Yeah,
the
like
frivolous
your
things
goal,
aside,
whatever your goal is.
like I now have this 130 seat restaurant, which I'm extremely proud of. All I ever wanted was a slice joint, though,
Mm-hmm.
and like what we do have, you know, pizza by the slice in a limited capacity for our happy hour menu now that we just launched recently. It's a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
And I love that, and it lends to certain opportunities and certain dishes, but like I just want, you know, a slice shop that is at the intersection of like humble old school classics and like ambitious, like he's pushing the envelope, he's having fun with it, right? Yeah. I think once you build one of those, you've built the model for it, and maybe you can expand to more of them, whether it's in this city, whether it's in the suburbs, or it's beyond the state, right? And then I've got so many friends and family that have supported me for so long now from afar, and all of them kind of unite under one common theme, which is like, when are you going to start shipping pizzas? And that's been a huge goal of mine for years now. And with every passing year, I do think we get closer to it. But I'd love to start shipping pizzas. You know, I look at a lot of these comedy connections I've made over the years, and a lot of them, you know, I only get to see them go up so often and perform, but like I keep up with them more regularly through podcasts like this. And so many of them have the sponsors, whether it's, you know, the credit sponsors or the manscaping or the tushy or whatever the case may be. And like, I would just love to have a nationwide product that is in the middle of Bad Friends or your mom's house, or the Joe Rogan Experience, or whatever the case may be.
Ship a pizza to you anywhere in the world.
You know, because the comedy scene's been just like such a rewarding thing to me like, to me, that's just like one step more to ingratiate myself into that scene and to just get my product out there a little bit more. So, you know, those are some of them right there.
That's a fantastic goal, man.
I appreciate it.
What anything big coming up? I mean, you want to any events at your restaurants? Any big announcements?
Yeah. You know, maybe we can flash up the dates because I don't have them memorized right now, but I would probably say our good friend Tad Walters has this show, Sauteed Stand-Up.
Oh, yeah.
And
I saw he's doing it at your restaurant. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so we're doing it at the pizzeria.
I love Tad. I put Tad in one of my movies, and he did so good. He let me film a movie.
Dude.
He hooked me up with Stephanie Izzard.
Incredible.
And I was like, I want to do this movie.
Yeah.
It was a short film. He hooked me up with Stephanie Izzard.
Yeah.
I said, it was a Duck, Duck, Goat. I said, I'll go in at midnight to 4 in the morning. Just let me film here. They let me come in. I had Tad in it. I had like 6 or 7 of the cooks who were just getting off.
So cool.
I was like, you guys want to do it? Yeah. They fed all of us. It was delicious. And we shot the movie in 4 hours. It was a short film, like 25 minutes.
I want to see that.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And it won 12 film festival awards.
Shut the fuck up. That's so sick, man. Congrats.
And went to Cannes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was just a cool story because Tad really it was just
amazing.
an idea, and I was like, I literally posted on Instagram, does anybody know of a restaurant I can film in? And Tad's like, yeah, I'm the sous chef at Duck Duck Goat with Stephanie Izzard. I'll hook you up. And I was like, yeah?
That'll do. Like,
yeah.
That'll do in a pinch. You know, by the time this comes out, the Sauteed Stand-Up will have already happened, but I'm excited.
But there'll probably be more. Let's plug it.
Yeah. And I'm happy to plug him anyways.
Sauteed Stand-Up is a comedy cooking show where you have 2 groups of comedians cook off against each other, and they have to switch partners at certain points. Like one partner will go up and do a set, so only one partner can cook and can't communicate with them.
Go ahead. They throw in, no, all of them. Just add in they throw in a mystery ingredient at some point.
Yes, it's a cooking show.
Got a panel of judges that are usually like I've judged.
Like you would be a judge. One time it was the head chef of Cabra.
Exactly, I've done it with him before. So
he couldn't handle spicy, really cool. Man. I made this guy masala pasta.
Oh, so you've been on it? Okay,
yeah, many times.
Yeah.
I made this guy masala pasta, and his secret ingredient was habanero. And he goes, "The pasta's great, too spicy." I was like, "You gave me a whole habanero."
Yeah, for real. Like, what's I supposed to do with it at this point?
I'm sure it sucks, but he was so nice.
No, that's a fun one. Trying to think of other stuff. I don't know. I mean, you can best keep up with us through our Instagram. We're always posting
Professor
stuff
Pizza
that we've done with comics, and just I don't know, man. We've always got something around the corner.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do something soon.
I would love that.
Let's do it, man.
At the very least, see us at a sushi spot near you.
Sushi-san. Yeah, let's fucking do it. All right, that's been the podcast. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you,
the professor himself.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Tony.
Absolutely.
It's so fun that we figured out who each other. I knew you.